Transformations are perhaps one of a lot of people's favorite parts about Dragon Ball, including mine actually. So I thought I would take the time to rank my favorite transformations today, so here's my list. Hey guys, this is Doran here. So before starting this video, I would just like to say, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like, and hey, if maybe you'll subscribe today. Other than that, I would just like to say that before starting this video, here are the criteria for this list. So first of all, this is at the end of the day just my personal opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. Although, let me know your opinions down in the comments below, and I genuinely mean that, by the way. I'm really curious what you think. Other than that, also, I would just like to say that this is not based on who the strongest is, but rather how these transformations impact the series and what I think they bring to the table in terms of, well, likability, obviously. And also, third of all, I would just like to say that this is just transformations, so no fusions included. Yeah, I prefer not to include fusions as transformations, but rather a gimmick of their own, but yeah. That's basically it. So with that out of the way, let's start the video. So at number 10 we have Super Saiyan God, aka Super Saiyan Red. Now I actually decided to put Super Saiyan Red over Super Saiyan Blue here because like Dragon Ball Super in contrast to Dragon Ball Z has lower quality in terms of transformations for the most part, although Dragon Ball Super has some really great ones, and yeah. So both Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Red are pretty great, I guess, but in terms of design anyway, red and blue are cool colors, but I think personally Super Saiyan Red had more hype behind it, and the execution was much better, and we actually see Goku achieve it and how he achieves it with the help of 4 other Super Saiyans. So yeah, that actually makes Super Saiyan Red more hypeful, and yeah. Also his fight with Beerus was really mind-blowing, at least in the Battle of Gods movie when it first came out, although less so in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, Super Saiyan Red, although it is one of the lesser likable fusions, it still is pretty great. Same applies for Super Saiyan Blue, but I prefer Super Saiyan Red over Super Saiyan Blue because like Super Saiyan Red had better execution in terms of storytelling, and we actually get to see how it comes into play. So yeah, that's just a fusion to start off the list. Yeah, Super Saiyan Red is pretty low on this list, but it is a great fusion alongside Super Saiyan Blue, but yeah, not as good as some of the earlier ones, as well as a few of the later ones. So with that out of the way, let's move on to number 9. So at number 9, we have a more recent fusion, perhaps the most recent, that being Black Frieza. So Black Frieza is, well, really likable because, well, it's already became a meme at this point, but yeah. First of all, the color black actually suits Frieza really well, although his main default color is white. Yeah, white and purple, but yeah, the black and purple also go well really together. And well, other than white, we've also seen him as golden, which is obviously mimicking the Super Saiyan theme. But yeah, I think black is more individualistic towards Frieza as a character, and the memes are kind of funny, I guess, but yeah. It has already built up hype, and yeah, it goes to show how impactful this transformation is, and it also highlights Frieza's more treacherous and more, well, capricious nature. Yeah, that's something that really strikes me as this fusion being more on the unique edge. But yeah, since it's coming from a character that is well, first of all likable, but we've also not seen a lot from for a long time. Other than that, let's move on to the next one. So yeah, Black Frieza is goated, but yeah, let's move on to number 8. So at number 8, we have none other than Ultra Instinct, the one transformation that built up more hype than any other transformation. Yeah, that's right. Ultra Instinct literally broke the internet, as you may have heard if you were present around that time. But yeah, Ultra Instinct is both very iconic, and on top of that, it's iconic for a reason at that, because like during the Universe Survival Saga, I would just like to say that Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the Universe 7 were really in a tight spot, and Jiren was introduced as being more powerful than some gods, which really make him an intimidating figure, first of all. And yeah, it was in a more brisk situation where Goku finds a way to surpass his limits, but we also get reason for why that was even possible in the first place, since he was training with Whis, and since Goku has a more innocent character, Ultra Instinct ironically ends up having a lot of meaning behind this form. Yeah, since Ultra Instinct both represents Goku's purity as well as his good-natured attitude, because that's in contrast to Ultra Ego, or different, since Goku is more pure-hearted and Vegeta is more carnal. But yeah, this is why Ultra Instinct is really meaningful as a transformation, and also why it built up a lot of hype, because, well, Goku was in a tight spot and no one really expected this transformation, and we haven't seen a lot of transformations from Goku since Super Saiyan Blue for a long time, and a whole year had elapsed, or well, possibly 2 years I think, but yeah, 1 or 2 years had elapsed since Super Saiyan Blue was introduced. So yeah, we hadn't seen a new transformation from Goku or Vegeta, and that's why Ultra Instinct was able to bring a lot of hype to the table, since this is also the first transformation that was a Dragon Ball Super exclusive and not even introduced in a movie. So yeah, that's why Ultra Instinct is pretty unique. At number 7 we have Super Saiyan 4. Now Super Saiyan 4 is one of the good things to come out of GT. Dragon Ball GT is very hated, but I personally like Super Saiyan 4 for his red color, and yeah, back in the day Super Saiyan 4 was really interesting because this was the first time in existence when the Super Saiyan form took a more unique turn. Instead of just having blonde hair that perpetually grow longer. But yeah, Super Saiyan 4 introduced a more monkey-ish design, which goes back into Goku's origins, and, or well, rather, I don't mean that on the fact that he's a Saiyan necessarily, but rather the fact that Goku is literally based on Sun Wukong, who's literally the Monkey King, and yeah, that embellishes that aspect of Goku, since that's who he's based off of. Yeah, and Super Saiyan 4, I would also like to say, is overlooked just because he's from GT, I think. But yeah, Super Saiyan 4 has a really intriguing design, and this was actually the first time that we actually saw Goku, or well, rather, for that matter, any Super Saiyan form take a different turn from the standard blonde hair design. So yeah, back in the day, this was really intriguing, and still is actually. The red and black still go very well together. Although the first 3 transformations, in my personal opinion, are still at the lower end. So yeah, let's move on to number 6. So that's where transformations get a little better. So at number 6 we have none other than, of course, Majin Vegeta. So this is where the fun ones begin. So Majin Vegeta is very iconic, or well, it's not that iconic, but yeah, I think it's a pretty great transformation, and this is the first transformation here that it's not related to Super Saiyans, or well, not related to, well, it's not exclusive to a certain group, but yeah, Majin Vegeta is awesome because, well, it represents Vegeta's inner demons as well as his struggle with defeat and his inability to accept the idea that he is inferior to Goku or Gohan. And yeah, it actually shows that Vegeta was willing to do anything to gain more power, and also the fact that he had more demons inside of him, in contrast to Goku's more unrealistic and childlike and more innocent character, which is not that relatable for everyone, whereas Vegeta is more relatable because of his struggles in that regard. Obviously, I'm not saying that Vegeta is literally you, but yeah, people may find certain aspects of Vegeta relatable, not Vegeta as a whole, essentially, but yeah, that's what I mean, basically. It represents Vegeta's inner demons really well, and his willingness to join the dark side, literally, just to gain more power, as well as the fact that it also brought up good and for Vegeta's downfall arc and Vegeta being able to get up back again. So yeah, that's why Majin Vegeta is pretty interesting as a transformation, and also the fact that it shows a more evil side of Vegeta that we hadn't seen since, well, the Frieza arc. So yeah, that's why Majin Vegeta is pretty cool. Now, at number 5, we have another great one. So at number 5, we have Perfect Cell. So Perfect Cell, that being Cell's final form. that's also ironic. That's very iconic because, well, here's the fun bit about it. So Akira Toriyama has said that he finds Cell really difficult to draw, and that's for good reason too, since he has a lot of dots in him, and Cell is probably one of the most detailed characters in all of Dragon Ball. And that's actually why he was not in Dragon Ball Super until the recent movie. So yeah, on top of that, Perfect Cell is where Cell looks, well, the greatest and most coolest in my personal opinion, and this is when Cell has absorbed both 17 and 18. So yeah, that's also where we see Cell peak as both a character, and his voice gets better as well, in my personal opinion. On top of that, we also see his power level go up, as well as the fact that not only does his power level go up, but it goes up to a drastic degree, and this was the first time we saw this happen. And on top of that, this is also interesting because Cell was a man-made villain, and not unlike Frieza, who we saw earlier was literally an alien and someone who was naturally gifted. So yeah, Cell was man-made. That's really interesting, and he was also cool and very detailed as a character. His design is really detailed in my personal opinion, and that's what makes Cell arguably the best out of the three main Dragon Ball Z villains, that being Frieza, Buu, and Cell. So yeah, that's why Cell is arguably the best one out of the three. So yeah, let's move on to, well, number 5. So yeah, we're finally in the top 5 now. So at number 5 we have Super Saiyan 1. Now Super Saiyan 1, this was the first time we saw Super Saiyan, and this is very important because this transformation had a lot of hype, especially when you were a kid and watching Dragon Ball Z for the first time. So this was during the Frieza arc, which a lot of people started to find annoying because of how much it was repeated on TV. But other than that, Super Saiyan 1 was also what brought in a lot of merchandise. And well, since this is mainly the transformations we are talking about and not just Goku going into these transformations, this also includes future Trunks and his Super Saiyan 1 as well as Vegeta. So yeah, Super Saiyan 1 is arguably both the most iconic one, and on top of that, it was what gave us mindgasms as children. So yeah, that's what makes Super Saiyan 1 really intriguing, and on top of that, also why it holds special value for all of us, even though that's arguably both nostalgic and the fact that Super Saiyan 1 is the most popular transformation in the entirety of Dragon Ball. Arguably more than Super Saiyan Blue, although Super Saiyan Blue has taken over the face now. So yeah, Super Saiyan 1 just cannot be forgotten, especially in the case of Future Trunks and how badass he was when he just sliced up Frieza and King Cold. So yeah, Super Saiyan 1 is the OG goated transformation. Now let's move on to something different. Now Super Saiyan 1 was already great, but Super Saiyan 3 was, well, another level. This is interesting because this was the first time we saw Goku's hair grow that long, and on top of that, this was also the transformation we did not see Vegeta get. Instead, we saw Goten and Trunks get earlier. So at first glance, a lot of people would like Super Saiyan 1 more than Super Saiyan 3, but hear me out. Super Saiyan 3 has more meaning behind it because, well, already, first let's start off. So Goku's yellow hair in Super Saiyan 1 resembled his resolve, since that's what the color yellow represents, his resolve to defeat Frieza. So yeah, on top of that, we actually see Goku's hair grow longer. What does that mean? This means that already Goku has a lot of resolve, but it's incrementing and it's going up, and that's the special meaning behind it. On top of that, not just that, Super Saiyan 3 was also the reason that we got a lot of meme transformations later on, such as, so yeah. So if you were an early 90s or early 2000s kid, you probably went on Google and searched up Super Saiyan 99999, because Super Saiyan 3 showed us that Goku's hair can grow longer. So we expanded our imaginations and thought that perhaps Goku could go even higher numbers and his hair would grow longer. So yeah, Super Saiyan 3 was the core reason that we had those moments as kids, and on top of the fact that Super Saiyan 3 has a lot of deeper meaning in it as well that gets overlooked. So yeah, Super Saiyan 3 is also pretty great. So yeah, as you can see, there's a pattern going on where the first 3 Super Saiyan forms are really great and have a lot of meaning in them. Now let's get into the top 3. So at number 3 we have Ultra Ego. This is perhaps the only Dragon Ball Super transformation that's really that high. Now Ultra Ego is very interesting because just like Majin Vegeta, Ultra Ego really represents Vegeta's character really well, because Vegeta, as we know, is more carnal, and in fact when you pay more attention to it, you can see that Goku is actually the more calculating one, even though Goku has the more innocent and childlike and goofy personality, whereas Vegeta is superficially more calculated. We actually see that Goku is the one that's actually being calculating in battle and more tactical, whereas Vegeta usually just charges in with rage. And on top of that, Vegeta has pride issues as well. On top of that, I would say that this is actually why Ultra Ego is so great, because not only just does it already go with Vegeta's character and actually embellishes it, because Vegeta is perhaps the character that can bring the most out of this transformation. So it already, not only does it coincidentally just represent how great it fits Vegeta, the fact is that it's not even originally made for Vegeta, as this is literally for the God of Destructions, and Vegeta just happens to fit that role well, and perhaps better than any other character we haven't seen in the series, and it brings out Vegeta's entirety of Vegeta's core for us, his evil sides and his carnal sides, and well, his darkest sides, as the manifestation of the color purple, as we see him express his rage. This was even done better than Majin Vegeta tenfold. So yeah, this was one of the times that Dragon Ball Super took the W over Dragon Ball Z, in my personal opinion. So yeah, Ultra Ego is perhaps the coolest transformation we have seen in Dragon Ball Super so far, in my personal opinion. It's just above the level. So yeah, Ultra Ego is insane, even though I do think that some people don't like it. Now let's move on to number 2. So number 2 is a bit special because, well, technically this became canon in Dragon Ball Super, although this was first introduced in Dragon Ball Z in a more filler movie. I'm talking about, of course, the legendary Super Saiyan. So the legendary Super Saiyan was really great because, well, even though Broly was never a canon character, we loved him still, and this movie was, well, what everyone talked about. Even though it was not canon, we all love Broly as both a character and, well, the form. And yeah, the green hair color really suits him, and on top of that, he gets more buffier, and that's just really great to see. On top of that, not just that, it's worth mentioning that this transformation, just like how Ultra Ego is more, or well, this one is exclusive to Broly, and we have not seen any other character represented. I mean, other than Kale, but I'm talking about in the Dragon Ball Z times before Dragon Ball Super. So we had not seen any other character express the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, and that's why it was exclusive to Broly, and Broly's story was just sad, honestly. So yeah, if for those of you guys who don't know what Broly's story was, basically he was So yeah, when Broly was born, King Vegeta thought that he would serve as a threat to Vegeta, so King Vegeta actually exiled both Paragus and Broly. So yeah, that was literally it. He was just a baby at that time. So yeah, King Vegeta expressed his cruelty, and because of that, he was isolated, and because of that, he had to live a very difficult life in both poverty, and his father both Broly and his father were really vengeful towards King Vegeta. So yeah, that's actually why Broly is so interesting as a character, and this transformation embellishes it further, because first of all, Broly has every reason to be mad, and on top of that, this transformation really represents it actually, even better than Ultra Ego represents for Vegeta. So yeah, that's why the legendary Super Saiyan is such a great transformation, even though it's technically not canon until Dragon Ball Super. Although, yeah, the legendary Super Saiyan is pretty peak for this reason only. The fact that it gives us a really deep character in Broly, but on top of that, it really shows us how greatly it embellishes Broly's character and how well it suits him. On top of that, it also has a really cool design with Broly's eyes literally turning wide. This was the first time we saw a transformation do that. So yeah, finally let's move on to number 1 without wasting any time. Although, I'll just list the honorable mentions real quick. So the honorable mentions here are Super Saiyan Blue, Ozaru aka the Great Ape, Giant Piccolo. Finally, at number 1, we already know what the answer is. Of course, at number 1 is Super Saiyan 2. Now, Super Saiyan 2, why is it number 1? Well, there is no moment better in Dragon Ball than seeing Kid Gohan, a character that has been the underdog in the series for a long time, despite his foreshadowed potential, finally express it in his battle with Cell and going full out. As a child, this was peak Dragon Ball, and even still, it is. So yeah, Dragon Ball, this was probably where Dragon Ball Z peaked and why Gohan became everyone's favorite character, even though mine is personally still Vegeta. This was why a lot of people loved Gohan, and Super Saiyan 2 shows us that. And that's, so yeah, Gohan was not only just the first character to show Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 2 became everyone's favorite transformation because of that. And most of the artwork since then actually represents Super Saiyan 2, but we just say it's Super Saiyan 1 just because. So yeah, not only was this transformation greatly important because it represents Gohan's fury, but on top of that, this was actually carried over to Vegeta as well, and Vegeta used this transformation perhaps more than any other character, even though Gohan was arguably the one who introduced it, and Gohan's fight with, and yeah, Gohan's moment with 16 as well, also memorable and pretty sad, but yeah, Gohan showed as well perhaps the best transformation in the entirety of Dragon Ball. So with that out of the way, here are my personal top 10 transformations in Dragon Ball. So you guys don't have to agree with it, but please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So with that out of the way, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace gamers, stay beautiful and stay safe. Bye.